Hi viewers, I am delighted to share with you another watch from Alpina in today's video. One of my favourite brands, Alpina, and this is a beautiful watch. This is the Alpina Alpiner 4 automatic chronograph, and this really is a very special watch. Okay, let me just go over the specs on this watch before I go any further. The case size is pretty large at 44mm. The lug to lug is also large at 53mm. The watch is 15mm thick and the lug width is 22mm. So yeah, it's not a small watch, but that's quite common with Alpina. They're all about sports and diving and flying, and most of their watches are to do with sports and action and exploring, and they do like a big legible dial. And obviously this is an automatic chronograph, so it will be fairly thick, but in my opinion the dial is so beautiful and the actual shape of the watch is so appealing that the size really isn't an issue. It deserves to have a pretty big dial because it is so well laid out and so attractive with that lovely sunburst silver finish, and then the applied indices, then those chronograph dials inlaid into the main dial, and the lovely polished hands. It just all fits together so well. Really does look very attractive. I first saw this watch quite a few years ago on a video on YouTube, which to my knowledge is still pretty much the only ever video review done of this watch, and that was by a YouTube channel called Bob's Blog, I think. A lovely man called Bob who ran a jewellery store called Banks Lion, and he showed this watch off in all its splendour, and ever since then I have always wanted one. And it's only now that I've actually acquired this particular piece, which is as stunning and beautiful as I thought it would be. Now, one of the reasons why it's taken so long to get hold of this is that the original retail price when they were launched was pretty steep, at around about $3,000, which is, you know, it's well worth it when you compare it to other watches in that price range, but Alpina do not hold their value well at all. It's a real shame. They're an underrated brand, but their value sinks like a stone, and it's really not, in my opinion, it's not a good idea paying full retail. So I did pick this one up used, but it is in immaculate condition, well under $1,000, and for me that is really a great deal. It's a fantastic watch. I really do rate it. So one of the unique features of this particular model, as you can see, it has a bezel, rotating bezel, which is not obviously a dive watch. It is more, if you like, an explorer's watch, and the bezel, those numbers relate to degrees, so that's 36 relates to 360 degrees. It is a bi-directional bezel. Very easy to move, no play at all. Lovely movement on that. So I'll attempt to explain how that works. Now, I'm not an explorer or a map reader, so forgive me if it's a little bit off, but as far as I understand it, this bezel works in line with the chapter ring, with the 24-hour markings on the chapter ring inside there, that blue chapter ring. And you look at the time, and this is showing nearly 10 o'clock in the morning, so then you look on your chapter ring for 10 o'clock and you move the 36 in line with that, and then you put the watch flat and you line the hour hand up in direction with the sun, and then the 36 marker will tell you where north is, and then you've got the mark, obviously the compass markings on the bezel there to take other readings. Anyway, something like that. I haven't really found a very good explanation of how it works yet, but really honestly, is anyone going to use it for that? I don't think so. Just looks cool and is a nice feature. But honestly, the main feature of this watch is the beautiful dial. That wonderful silver sunburst look with the black bezel and those wonderful markers, highly polished. It just looks the business, it really looks good. The casework is really good as well, the brushed finishing on the sides, and then the tops, the lugs are polished on that chamfered beveled edge there. Just really nicely done. And there on the sub dial you've got the chronograph feature of the watch. You've got the 30-minute register there. So just get that started. Lovely sweeping move of that main second hand. Then you've got the running seconds in the 9 o'clock dial there. Really good action. Then it just springs straight back to 12 o'clock position. Now this particular Alpina is powered by the AL860 movement. It is based on the Solita SW500, but it's been pretty heavily modified by Alpina. So a very accurate and reliable movement. And the watch is also 100 meters water resistant. You have a nice chunky crown, screw down crown. Nice pop. And silky smooth action, really very slick. And obviously, as you can see, there is no date on this watch, which makes things much more simple. It's a very nicely laid out dial. So let's have a look at that in a bit more detail. I'll zoom in on that right now. You can see there the Alpina logo, the little triangle is applied onto the dial, and then very crisp printing for the rest. There we can see automatic chronograph, anti-magnetic as well, 100 meters. Lovely texture on the sub dials with those concentric circles on both. Beautifully done. And you can see the outer ring is done in blue, as is the chapter ring. Just a nice bit of colour. I like the main second hand with the white painted Alpina logo on the end. Looks cool. We'll just get that chronograph moving. Really, really nice action. And the bezel does have an aluminium insert, but it's really well finished. Coin edge. Very nice indeed. Just have a look at the case back, because that has the Alpina mountain range. Looks really good, nice texture, lovely mix of matte and polished finish there. Yep, that sure is a beautiful, intricate and very cleverly laid out dial. I do really, really like that. Let's stop that and reset. Wonderful. Okay, I'll quickly put that on the wrist and show you how that looks now. Looks great in my opinion. I do think it sits really well for a big watch. I have a 7-inch wrist and I don't feel it looks oversized. The curved lugs help, and the strap is lovely. It's a very well made black leather strap with a nicely signed buckle. It does have quite a lot of wrist presence. It's a really luxurious looking watch without being too flashy. Very comfortable and looks really classy, and it's a great combination. You could have it either as a dress watch or a sports watch. It's just one of those watches really that looks great in any environment. Okay, I'll just show you the lume now in the dark. That's not bad at all. Nice bright superluminova, very easy to read, and that lasts a long time as well. Pretty decent overall. Okay, that's it for this one. That's the Alpina Alpiner 4 chronograph. A beautiful automatic watch. Really quite difficult to fault this one. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.